It's 4:55 a.m. and 6 alarms are about to go off in 6 very different rooms. By midnight, all 6 of these people will have watched the exact same chart on the exact same day through the exact same 40-point drop at 2 p.m. Same candle, same news, same red. And it will mean 6 completely different things. Because in trading, you don't see the market, you see your level. This is one day lived 6 times. Not just the trading, the whole day, the car in the driveway, the person waiting at the table, the version of a life that account size actually buys and the version it doesn't. Find yourself in it and be honest about which one you are, not which one you tell people you are. 4:55 a.m. Level 1 doesn't hear an alarm because Level 1 never went to sleep. He's 23, 4 weeks into trading, and the phone has been an inch from his face since 2 a.m. A $500 account, a crypto chart, and a position he opened at midnight because a guy on a live stream sounded certain. He still lives in his childhood bedroom. The car in the driveway belongs to his mother, and he'll ask to borrow it again today. His eyes are burning. He tells himself he's watching his trade. There is no stop loss. There's only hope at full brightness in a dark bedroom that used to have football posters on the wall. Level 2's alarm goes off at 5 and he's already half awake. 2 years in, a $7,000 account that's been $7,000 for 8 months. He doesn't jump up. He lies there for a second, doing the math he does every morning. Up 400 this month, down 400 last month. Break even. Again. Beside him, his wife stirs. She works a normal job, the one that actually pays their rent. And neither of them says out loud anymore that trading was supposed to replace it by now. He gets up anyway. That's the thing about Level 2 nobody respects enough. He keeps getting up. Their one car is 9 years old and paid off, which is the only reason the math still works at all. Level 3 wakes at 5:15 to a spreadsheet. Day 19 of a funded challenge. 6% of the profit target done, 2% of drawdown left. He knows the numbers before his feet touch the floor, because at this level, you don't trade the market, you trade the rules. He rents a 1-bedroom alone, no car. He takes the train, partly for cost, mostly because a 50-minute commute is 50 minutes he's not allowed to look at a chart. One bad morning and the last 4 months of challenge fees start over. Level 4's alarm is set for 5:30, but she's been awake since 5:20. Not from stress, from routine. Coffee. A page of yesterday's journal. Nothing dramatic. Her account has a comma in it, and her heart rate doesn't change when she opens the platform, which took, by her own count, 6 years and 2 blown accounts to achieve. Her husband is already up making the kids' lunches in the kitchen below, a small, ordinary, undramatic house in a good school district, paid for slowly and without a single viral trade. The car in the garage is a 5-year-old SUV, immaculately maintained, chosen for safety ratings, not for how it looks pulling into a parking lot. Level 5 is already in the car. Desk lead at a brokerage firm, 11 traders under him, and the pre-market call starts at 6 sharp. His own P&L stopped being the point years ago. Now he watches other people live out their 8 seconds every single day, and his job is to catch it before it costs the firm. His car is a leased German sedan, the kind that says management, not trader. Because at this level, the job title on the paycheck matters more than the account statement. His partner is still asleep in a 2-bedroom apartment near the city. They're saving for a house, the ordinary way, on an ordinary salary that happens to come from an extraordinary skill. Level 6 is asleep. The fund manager sleeps until 6:40 because the fund's positions are measured in months, not minutes, and because there is a machine and a desk in Singapore and a risk system that would call him if anything truly mattered. He lives in a house most of the 6 would recognize instantly from a magazine, with a car in the driveway that costs more than Level 1's entire trading account times 1,000. But it took him 22 years to earn the right to sleep through the open, and the family currently asleep upstairs has watched all 22 of them. The good years and the 3 genuinely bad ones nobody talks about at dinner parties. 8:30 a.m., the number drops. Inflation data, hotter than expected. The chart gaps down like a trapdoor. Level 1 sees his position go from -$40 to -$190 in 4 seconds. He does the thing. You know the thing. He screenshots the chart, types manipulation into a Discord, and moves the invisible line in his head where he'll definitely close it. His mother knocks on the door, asking if he wants breakfast. He doesn't answer. Level 2 had a plan for this. He wrote it last night. If the data's hot, stand down until 9:15. And here is Level 2's entire tragedy in one sentence. He has the right plan, and he's about to not follow it. Because the gap looks like opportunity, and 8 months of break-even feels like falling behind, and falling behind feels like something you fix today, before his wife leaves for the job that's currently paying for both their lives. Level 3 doesn't take the trade. Not because he isn't tempted, because the challenge rules say no trading within 10 minutes of red folder news, and the rules are the only thing between him and starting over. And starting over means another month in the one bedroom before he can even think about upgrading anything. He sits on his hands. Literally. It looks ridiculous. It works. Level 4 watches the gap, checks it against 2 levels she marked on Sunday, and closes the laptop for 20 minutes. The data changed the day's plan from her A setup to her B setup, and the B setup doesn't exist until 10 o'clock. There is nothing to do, so, and this is the whole level, she does nothing. She goes and makes sure her kid has their shin guards for practice. Level 5 is watching 11 screens, and one of his juniors just doubled into the drop. He's out of his chair before the second fill prints. Not angry, early. At this level, you learn the sound a blow-up makes when it's still one trade wide, and you cut it there, in person, calmly, with a hand on a shoulder. This is the job now. Managing people's nervous systems is the actual product he sells to the firm. Level 6 reads the number in a morning note 40 minutes later. The fund's model's already repriced. He writes one sentence to the desk, no change to the thesis, and goes back to a meeting about something 11 weeks away, in a home office with a view that cost more than most people's houses. 2 p.m., the reversal. The morning's panic low starts getting bought, hard. 40 points off the bottom in 20 minutes. This is the candle all 6 of them will remember differently. Level 1, who finally capitulated and sold his midnight position at 1:57 p.m., the exact bottom, the way beginners somehow always do, watches the market rip without him and experiences something close to grief, then rage, then the login screen. The revenge trade goes in at 2:19, double size. You already know how this ends because you've been level 1. Everyone has. Level 2 caught the reversal. He's up $600 at 2:30, his best day in months. And now comes his real test, the one that has kept him at break-even for 2 years. It isn't a losing trade. It's this exact moment. Up 600, terrified of giving it back, itching to make it a real day, a day that finally means something to the mortgage payment that's due Friday. He does both wrong things at once, takes profit on the winner too early, then re-enters late and gives a third of it back. Break-even's gravity isn't bad luck. It's this. Level 3 is done for the day. He made 0.8% this morning inside the rules and stopped because the challenge doesn't reward brilliance, it rewards not dying. 19 days down. He goes for a run at 2 p.m. while the best move of the day happens without him, past the train station he'll ride home on later instead of driving, and this, precisely this, is why he'll pass. Level 4's B setup triggered at 10:40. She's been in since, stop at break even, doing the hardest thing in trading, nothing. Again. The 2 p.m. surge takes her to target, flat by 2:24. The whole day, start to finish, contained exactly 2 decisions, both of which were made on Sunday at a kitchen table, with her family's actual mortgage in mind the entire time. Level 5 spends the reversal managing a human being, not a position. The junior from this morning is down his daily limit and wants one more. And Level 5 has the conversation he's had 200 times, the one about how the desk doesn't pay him to be right, it pays him to be here in 6 months. He sends the kid home at 2:40. The kid will either get it or he won't. That part never changed at any size. Level 6 sees the reversal as a line item, the fund added to a position it's been building for 3 weeks at prices the machine chose. Nobody at his level watched the candle form. That's not detachment as a personality trait, it's detachment as infrastructure. Built over decades out of the exact 8 seconds everyone below him is still living inside. 6 p.m., home. Because here's the part almost nobody films, what the day actually buys once the platform closes. Level 1's mother made dinner. He eats it in his room, plate on his lap, still refreshing the chart from the trade he shouldn't have taken. He tells her again that this is almost his year. She says nothing because she's said everything already 3 times over 3 years. The car keys are back on the hook by the door. He didn't earn enough today to put gas in it. Level 2 comes home to a small rented apartment, and dinner is whatever's fastest because his wife worked a full shift and he spent the day either up 600 or giving a third of it back. And either way, he's exhausted in a way that has nothing to do with hours. They don't talk numbers at the table anymore. They talk about her day instead, which is calmer and steadier and, though neither says it, currently more reliable than his. The 9-year-old car starts on the second try. It always does. That's the whole relationship he has with luxury right now, things that still work. Level 3 eats alone, standing at the counter of the 1-bedroom because sitting down to a real dinner feels like a reward he hasn't earned 19 days into a challenge he could still fail on day 20. He calls his parents once a week and says things are going well, which is true technically, if you define well as rules intact. No car payment, no car. Just a transit pass and a spreadsheet that is, slowly, starting to look like a resume. Level 4's kitchen is loud. Homework, a dog, a husband asking about weekend plans, absolutely nothing about the market. This is not an accident. It's the entire design. The account with the comma in it bought exactly this. A house where trading is a job that happens between 9 and 11:30, and then it's over, completely, until tomorrow. The SUV in the garage will do a school run tomorrow and nothing more interesting than that, and that is precisely the point. Level 5 gets home late. The desk doesn't close when the market does, not when you're managing 11 nervous systems instead of 1. His partner has the leftovers warmed up without being asked. She's learned the rhythm of this job even though she's never placed a trade in her life. They talk about the apartment they're saving to leave, a real house, 18 months out at current pace. The leased sedan sits outside looking more successful than the actual bank balance behind it, which is its own kind of honest lie almost everyone at this level tells. Level 6's dinner is at 8, formal enough that the kids complain about it, in a dining room with the view still lit up outside. Nobody at that table has ever discussed a single trade. His oldest asked once, years ago, what he actually does all day, and he said, "I wait," and it was the most honest answer he's ever given about money in his life. The car in the driveway is worth more than every other level's account combined, and it's the least interesting thing that happened in his house today. 11:58 p.m. Level 1 is exactly where he was 24 hours ago, an inch from the phone, in the dark, in a new position he opened at 11:30 to fix the day. His account is down 38% this week. He would tell you, sincerely, that he almost has it figured out. The market will still be here when he learns that it was never the market he was fighting. Level 2 is at the kitchen table with his journal, and tonight, for the first time in a while, he doesn't write the numbers first. He writes, up 600 at 2:30, scared money gave back 200. The problem isn't my system. He stares at that last sentence for a long time. That sentence, if he keeps looking at it, is the door out of break-even. Most people write it and look away. A few don't. Level 3 updates the spreadsheet. Day 19, plus 0.8%. 11 days of runway left, rules intact. It's the most boring diary on earth. It's also the sound of someone becoming employable to capital, because the entire industry above him is just this spreadsheet at scale with better furniture. Level 4 is asleep, has been since 10. Tomorrow's levels are already marked, the orders already bracketed, and somewhere in a drawer there's a 5-year-old photo of her old self at level 1, phone an inch from her face at midnight, in a bedroom that wasn't her own, that she keeps on purpose, so she never mistakes where she is for who she's always been. Level 5 is reading the desk's daily risk report in bed and pauses on one line. The junior he sent home logged into the sim at 9 p.m. and traded the replay of his own blowup for 2 hours, voluntarily. Level 5 smiles at his phone like a man watching someone find the door. That one's going to make it. He'll tell his partner about it in the morning, the way other people tell their partners about a good day at a normal job. And level 6? Level 6 is reading a book that has nothing to do with markets. 22 years ago, he was level 1. The phone, the dark, the hope, a childhood bedroom of his own. Nobody skips the ladder. Some people just refuse to stop climbing it for 2 decades, long after the money stopped being the reason. 6 people, 1 chart, 1 candle at 2 p.m. The difference was never information. They all saw the same number at 8:30. It was never intelligence or capital or luck, and it definitely wasn't the strategy, because at least 4 of them traded the same basic idea today. It also, and this matters, was never really about the car in the driveway or the size of the dinner table. Those are just what the account eventually buys or doesn't. A leased sedan and a paid-off 9-year-old car can sit in the exact same parking lot outside the exact same funded trader meetup, and only one of the 2 people getting out of them is actually building something that lasts. The real difference is what each level has trained into the space between a plan and a feeling. Level 1 has nothing there yet. Level 6 has 22 years there. So be honest, one time with nobody watching. Whose midnight looked like yours? Whose kitchen table? Whose car in the driveway? Don't answer out loud. Just remember the level. Because the ladder doesn't care which rung you say you're on. It only responds to what you do the next time the number drops at 8:30, and what kind of table you're sitting at when the day is finally over. And it will drop again tomorrow. This is the 5% Mind, the day nobody films, the one underneath the highlight reels. Subscribe and find out which level you actually are, not the one you post about. The next video is the first 4 minutes after a losing trade, the exact 60 seconds that decide whether you're level 1 or level 4 tomorrow. I'll see you there.